This week on Let's Fish TV, we're on one of my favorite places in the country, and that's Sam Rayburn Reservoir. We'll be fishing for some really big white and black crappie, and I can't wait to show you how we catch them here in deep East Texas. You know, I'll be fishing with a couple of my favorite baits. I can't tell you yet what they are, but you'll get to see here in just a few minutes. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now.
That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Welcome to Sam Rayburn Reservoir. You know, I grew up fishing this lake a long time ago, and let me tell you guys, it's absolutely massive. It's located about 15 miles north of Jasper, Texas, and it has almost 115,000 surface area acres, making it one of the biggest places I've ever been. You know, today we're gonna be targeting crappie, and I'm just gonna be the first to tell you, I honestly have never fished for crappie on Sam Rayburn. I fished so many bass tournaments and fished out here for so many different times for bass, I've never gone crappie fishing. But today, that is the challenge. We're gonna go out there and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna find and catch some big crappie, but we're dealing with a post-frontal condition. So the fishing's gonna probably be kind of tough, but I'm gonna promise you one thing, we're gonna go figure it out just for you guys. We're also gonna have this week's fishing reports from our insider reporters from your local region. In the meantime, I'm gonna get my boat launched, get everything set up, and I'm gonna toss it back to the studio for your weekend planner.
Hey everybody, the Salooner tables are predicting good game fish activity Saturday and fair on Sunday. Peak daytime activity begins at 1:24 on Saturday and 2:16 Sunday afternoon. The best time to fish in the dark will begin after midnight around 12:56 on Saturday and 1:49 Sunday. Depending on your local area, expect the sun to rise around 6:39 and set at 8:27, and evenings will feature a moon that's just 3% visible. Stay with us. We've got fishing reports from across the area on the way. Plus, I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Steve Kennedy to answer your Ask the Pro question.
Today we're gonna be fishing Sam Rayburn Reservoir. This is a big reservoir in deep East Texas, and it has a bunch of big crappie in it. One thing we're dealing with weather-wise though today is post-frontal conditions. We're a couple days after the front. Fishing's gonna be pretty tough, but I'm gonna show you exactly how we're gonna catch them today. Next time you see me, I'm gonna be rolling in a crappie. There's one. Oh, that's a nice crappie. Whew, man. That's a Sam Rayburn, nice one right there, guys. Look at that crappie. Guys, today we're up here on Sam Rayburn. Sam Rayburn is located in East Texas, and it's absolutely known for its big bass. I fished a bunch of tournaments here, caught a lot of really nice bass. One thing that people don't talk about enough of is the crappie fishing. The crappie is king in East Texas, and today we're gonna be fishing for these nice slab crappie, throwing a couple of new crappie baits that you might not have ever seen before. We're gonna talk about that here in just a minute. I'm gonna get this fish back real quick. So today we're fishing this post-frontal condition, and it is kind of tough to catch these crappie. So we've had to slow down, use our active target, and target individual stumps using a brand new crappie bait. And we're gonna dive into that here in just a second. But fan casting with one of my favorite little shooter combos that I use all over the place, from shooting docks to fishing deep brush piles and also to fish around this timber. Today we're gonna catch them on Let's Fish TV.
Man, it's been hot, and it has our water temperatures hot too. In fact, we have a lot of places across the state of Oklahoma that water temps are either side of 90 degrees. And I've told you before, I'm going to tell you again, don't let that make you think you can't catch bass shallow in the state at this time. In fact, this is a really good time. I don't know if it's the oxygen levels or it's a lot of shad toward the surface area or a combination of both, but the shoreline fishing can be really good with topwater baits at this time. Buzz baits, walk the dog type baits like a Zara Spook, and of course your soft plastic jerk baits. If you want to cool off some, think about our trout fishing opportunities. Lower Mountain Fork, Lower Illinois River. Lower Illinois Lake Tenkiller lake level is finally back down to about normal. As a result of that, the water release through the dam has been more consistent. That's really improved the trout fishing in the lower Illinois. Go with your inline spinners, do some fly fishing, go with your commercially prepared baits. Pay attention to those special trout regulations wherever you go. Some areas do allow commercially prepared bait. Some water and stretches are only artificial lures. Trout fishing, cool off in those 65-degree water. Topwater bass activity, you can catch them all day long, but you can't catch anything if you don't jump.
Oh, there he is. Oh, using the big stick, guys. Oh, yeah. Using that big old crappie rod, I dipped it over there on a big school of them that I couldn't get to bite. Sure enough. See, one thing about it, so you see this real long rod, you don't ever want to boat flip them with this long rod because you'll high stick it, you'll break it. So what I like to do is you either come over here and grab the line or use a dip net and you can get them in just like that. It's super easy, very, very easy to do actually. And the cool thing about this, especially using active target, you can actually dip this jig head around and catch really big crappie. I'm gonna get this fish back in the water real quick. But I want to talk to you about what I just did. So I've been throwing that bladed jig head around, a little road runner with that Slabalicious. And I made a little change. I went to the Slab Daddy, Mr. Crappie Slab Daddy 9-foot rod. And I'm actually dipping this thing around particular stumps that have schools of fish and keeping it right in front of them without moving it very much. Those fish could not resist it. So I actually, whenever I'm crappie fishing, I keep 2 style poles with me. You know, I talked about it a few minutes ago, and I talked about using that speed shooter combo, but whenever I want to dip that bait around, I really like the Slab Daddy. The Slab Daddy is it comes in a lot of different sizes, 9 foot, 11 foot, 12 foot, and you can actually dip this thing around. It comes pre-spooled with 10-pound test, and that's perfect size line for crappie fishing. But I actually could watch my line there and I saw my line tick. I didn't feel the bite, I saw my line tick, and that's one important aspect of this high vis line is you can see the line really well. I saw that tick, I knew that fish bit, and I was able to set the hook. I'm telling you guys, if you have never used a long rod when you're crappie fishing, you're missing out. It's so much fun, especially when you get to dip around cover. Now when you're casting around, I like a smaller combo, makes it a lot easier. But dipping around that Slab Daddy, man, it's a lot of fun.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors, making it easier than ever to gear up and have fun out there. Visit Mississippi, Wanderers welcome. Power Pole, total boat control. Balls Out, made in the USA, heavy duty mounts for your fish finders.
Look at the size of that one. Woo, woo. I mean, gorgeous crappie right there. Oh, there we go. Man, what a strike that was. That's a pretty good crappie there, guys. Like a really nice crappie. Big key here is how I'm fishing this jig head. So I reel it up to where the fish are, and then I worm it through the area. And this is a really good slab here. Look at the size of that one. Woo, woo. I mean, gorgeous crappie right there. Hook just fell out. I'm gonna get this fish back real quick. Gorgeous fish though. Big key though, and I can't stress this enough. When you are worming, what I consider worming that crappie jig through the cover, the biggest key is to get your bait to the main area where you think the fish are. And you can use this with active target. You can use this if you just have a natural feel of how these fish are setting up. So you get around the cover and you want to bring that bait to the cover and you want to kill it. And you want to just kind of worm that bait around. those fish, they want to suck together. They want to get real close to that cover. So the closer that jig head's going to get to that cover, the more chance you have to get a bite. So what we ended up doing is we started the day with a little 1/16 or an 1/8 ounce Roadrunner head with that Slabalicious, and I felt like I was getting too many fish that were following. Even worming it, I was snagging the cover, and when it gets like that, you have to go to a lighter jig head. Went to that 1/16 ounce, and that made all the difference in the world. Started getting those bites. But I want to talk a little bit about color though. So one of my favorite colors is black and chartreuse. You just can't beat it. And the thing is there's a couple colors that I think you definitely need to have in your arsenal. Black chartreuse is one of those. Electric chicken is another one of those, which is like a pink and chartreuse. One of my favorites, though, no doubt about it, is monkey milk, or that blue glimmer type color, and that's a big time color. But one thing you're gonna notice is I always fish a bright colored jig head, and that's a really important key as well. So it's not even just about the plastic color, it's also about the jig head color. I always have a range of colors from orange, chartreuse, pink, and white jig heads depending on how the fish are reacting. This time of year, I match that black and chartreuse with a chartreuse head, and sometimes I'll even go to a pink head. And sometimes I think they really key in on those colors and you get more and bigger bites. So you can experiment a little bit, have you a couple different rods and cast a couple of different baits, and you'll be surprised how much it makes a difference by changing those colors around and changing that jig head color around.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Iceland Coolers. Roto-molded to the highest tolerances, Iceland matches the big names in quality, much better price. Now this week we're going to start in East Texas, Caddo Lake, where they don't have a lot of deep water. Why is that important? In the summertime, bass will go offshore over deep structure. They can be terribly difficult to find if you're not a master of the electronics on your boat. Caddo Lake, no such problem. Take your jig, your Texas rig worm, your Senkos, and your topwaters. Start early with your topwaters, then transition to your Senkos, then your Texas rigs and jigs, and the key at Caddo is the cypress trees and the channels. Fish the cypress knees closest to the channels, you'll connect with some Caddo bass. Now, over at Conroe, crappie, boat docks, brush piles. Those three things go hand in hand, so to speak. Shoot those docks if you can, or throw your live bait and jigs as close as you possibly can under those docks. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with this week's Let's Fish Report, coming to you from Hackberry, Louisiana, right here at Cajun Paradise Charters. I'll tell you what, we're in the summertime pattern, full swing. Best fishing's early and late. Also, if you can find some lights at night, lots of trout getting caught under the lights. Just about anything will work, but I tell you what, live shrimp's always a good go-to. For your regular daytime fishing, if the water's pretty down at our Gulf jetties on Calcasieu Lake, lots of trout, lots of redfish getting caught, of course, live shrimp, live mullet. Just as long as the water's pretty and the water's moving, you're gonna have great success. On the freshwater side of things, the Sabine River, which is not too far from us right here, been hearing some good reports. Lots of bass getting caught. I tell you what, the salinity's coming up though. So you're sitting at a little cut when it's moving water, you're catching bass on spinnerbait, bass on a crankbait, then all of a sudden you'll catch a couple of nice redfish. So a little bit of mixed bag coming from the Sabine over there, both bass and a few saltwater fish getting mixed in. Biggest thing is be safe out on the water. Like I said, tell you what, y'all need to tune in to Outdoors and Fishing. Sunday morning, 6 o'clock, watch old Cajun Phil and I, because we're going to show you some TV shows from all across the great state of Louisiana. Main thing is, happy fishing, be safe, and let's fish.
There we go. Oh yeah, that's a good one there. Man, oh man. This is a crappie, it's a big one, guys. Been catching a few. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Been catching a couple nice ones and kind of got plagued with some little ones, but now look at the size of that one. Oh, that is a Sam Rayburn slab right there, guys. Look how deep that thing ate it. he knocked about 3 foot of slack in it. And that's one of my favorite things about crappie fishing. You know, I have people ask me all the time. I'm fortunate enough I get to travel all over the country fishing for all types of species of fish, from bass, crappie, striper. But day in and day out, there's nothing that beats a big slab, because when I'm reeling that little Strike King jig around with that Slabalicious, and I'm reeling it real slow, and it just, boom, nothing beats that bite.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose, Feel the Difference, Mamba Boats, Ride with Pride, Strike King, Tie One On, Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades, Fishing Specialties, makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Nothing wrong with ending the day on the biggest crappie of the day. Man, oh man. Oh my gosh, they're all over it. There he goes. Oh my. That's another good one there. Man, this crappie fishing's fun, guys. I'm just gonna tell you. I know you are at home watching this right now, but I'm gonna tell you, you're missing out. Sam Rayburn is absolutely on fire. It's got nice crappie biting all over the place, from black to white crappie and everything in between. I've had an absolute blast today. I've caught so many fish, I can't even begin to tell you. And I've thrown all of them back. But you know, the cool thing about crappie fishing is that you can do it a lot of different ways. Today we're fishing jigs, but you can take minnows, you can use minnow and a cork, you can take jigs and cast jigs around, you can troll stuff around. But I can tell you, if you're in East Texas and you want some really great crappie fishing, you need to come over to Sam Rayburn. You know, I talk a lot about Toledo Bend and places like that, but everybody talks about the bass fishing at Sam Rayburn, and rarely do they talk about the crappie. The crappie are big here, and they're plentiful. You can go out and catch a limit almost every single day. I know guys that literally catch limits every single day they come out here. They don't get as much pressure. The crappie don't especially. The bass get a lot of pressure, but not the crappie. One thing about crappie fishing on Rayburn, though, is they're in a lot of the exact same areas the bass fishermen fish. So you're gonna have guys that fish all around you, and they're gonna have boats all around you, but they're gonna be fishing the bank, and they're not gonna be meshing where you're fishing. I've had boats in and out of this area that I'm at today, and haven't had any issues whatsoever. But once we found a little area, we've stayed in a 100-yard square area, and we've caught as many crappie as we'd want to catch, and all using that new Slabalicious. And I'm telling you, I want to just go catch some more crappie. So I'm gonna get right back out there and see if I can catch me one more before the day's over.
Hi everyone, Captain Greg Verm here with your Texas Coastal Fishing Report. Hey, let's start way down south at Port Mansfield, Texas. Captain Wayne Davis said water is low and the temperatures are hot. Redfish have slowed down a bit, but they're still able to find a few fish early in the morning. A few good schools have started to form near the East Cut, and if you find one, it's on like Donkey Kong. A trout are staging deep, being caught on K-Wiggler 4-inch paddle tails. Now let's move up the coast just a bit to Corpus Christi, Texas. Captain Chris Elliott said fish has been incredible. Trout bite is best early in the morning, fishing potholes in 2 to 3 foot of water. Natural color soft plastics are working best. Hey, once the water heats up, he's hunting redfish using 1/4-ounce gold spoons. Hey, fishing is hot up and down the Texas coast right now. If you want to fish here in Galveston, inshore or offshore, and our fall flounder gigging trips are beginning to book up, give me a call, check out our websites. Captain Greg Verm, I'll see you next week.
Ooh. Oh yeah, there we go. Man, I just love crappie fishing. It's so much fun, holy cow. Nothing wrong with ending the day on the biggest crappie of the day. Man, oh man. Ugh. Look at that, guys. That's one you want to end the day on. Look how deep that jig is. That's unreal. Unreal. Slabalicious again. That's a big crappie, guys. That's a really big crappie. So, I'll leave you with this one little note. Let me get this fish back real quick. You got to pay attention to a lot of details when you're out here crappie fishing. Using your electronics is a big key, but also using your eyes. You know, today I've been able to look in the water using these Strike King sunglasses, and I can see the tops of these stumps. But one thing you have to have is polarized sunglasses. Not just any sunglasses will work. Make sure they're polarized. You'll be able to cut the surface clarity of the water. You'll be able to see the tops of these trees. So if you don't have active target or some type of forward-facing sonar, you're gonna be able to see these trees. So if you pay attention to those little details, you'll figure out, okay, there's a stump that I can get bit on. You can stay back off of it and throw past that stump. So you can actually use your eyes to your advantage as well. That's one thing that I've done today as well. Not just using forward-facing sonar, but paying attention with my eyes and be able to find visual clues that have helped me load the boat. But guys, that's a wrap for today. I've had a blast. I've caught a ton of crappie today. I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys, and I'll see you here in just a second.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Plan or book your fishing charter at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS anchor, powered by Passion. Coastline Trailers, built by fishermen for fishermen.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get right to your Ask a Pro question for this week. Calvin wants to know, what is the best way for a beginner to learn how to cast a bait cast reel? For an answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Steve Kennedy.
But yeah, make sure you get it adjusted correctly and tighten it up to the point that, you know, the bait just barely falls or even not. You may even want to start with it where it doesn't fall, but you want to get right on the edge of where just pushing the button and releasing it is just a slow, steady fall. So it's not too loose, and then it's just a matter of casting, keeping your thumb on there, keep it from overrunning. There's another little trick you can do. You can put a piece of tape down in the spool, so you know, get a reasonable cast out, and then put some tape in there, so you know it doesn't over spool. You don't have all that loose line in there. So that's another trick you can do that helps beginners for sure.
Thanks so much, Steve. If you want some help too from one of the pros, simply go to letsfishtv.com, follow the Ask the Pro link, and you can submit your own question.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Today on Sam Rayburn, I used a two-prong approach to catch my crappie. First and the best option was casting around a little 16th ounce Roadrunner with a brand new plastic from Strike King called the Slabalicious. It's a little swim bait, and I'm telling you guys, it absolutely is money. Fishing that on a speed shooter combo. This is a 6.6 little combo, 6-pound mono. And that was what we caught most of the big ones on, especially using active target around those stumps. Now, when those crappie got a little finicky, I was able to pick up a big jigging rod. This is a Slab Daddy 9-footer. I was using a little pink slasher head with the shad pole curly tail, and I was able to get right over those crappie and drop that jig down with that 9-footer, but not spook them with the trolling motor, and able to stay far enough back that I could jig those fish up. And that's really important to have a two-prong approach to catch those crappie, and it loaded the boat with both techniques. I hope you can find and catch them with these two baits. I know we sure had fun today. Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the water.